Based on the January 2021 recommended practices for strengthening the security and integrity of America's science and technology research enterprise guidance issued by JCOR, and in order to support strong collaboration between federal research agencies, universities, and research institutions, the NIH announced changes to the biographical sketch and other support sections. The announcement was made March 12, 2021, with an effective date for all changes by January 25, 2022. The JCOR report focuses on the importance of research security and integrity, ensuring that researchers and universities are adequately protecting research being performed on behalf of the U.S. government, and that findings are not being inappropriately shared to the benefit of a foreign government. In an effort to secure confidence in the research enterprise, the NIH has updated its application forms and instructions to support the need for applicants and recipients to provide full transparency and disclosure of all research activities, foreign and domestic. This video will discuss changes to the other support pages. Other support compliance is preferred after May 25, 2021, but required after January 25, 2022. The other support requirements are drastically different than the previous other support. They require much more information, so start pulling this new information together and start to transition now. Do not wait. Other support has been reorganized to separate funded projects from in-kind contributions. A new table for reporting other support and effort, a new location for completed research moved from BioSketch, a new section for reporting in-kind resources, a new requirement for disclosure of foreign affiliations, appointments, and foreign research, a new electronic signature block to certify the other support statements for PI, key personnel, and a new requirement that PDFs must be flattened. This is the new formatted template. The Commons ID is now included. The new form includes all domestic and foreign, active, pending, and recently completed, funded and unfunded support for personnel on NIH-funded projects, as well as in-kind contributions. This new support table is a significant change. This is more information than was previously required. Support status, support sources, place of performance, the dates of the projects, total award amount, annual direct cost, all need to be included. Also new in the effort table are the calendar months broken out by year. Organize your efforts by active, pending, and recently completed. First, include the section for your active efforts. Make sure that your calendar months do not exceed 12 and check with your accountant to make sure they are accurate. Followed by the next section for your pending efforts. So when would you report a resource or support not previously reported to NIH? ASAP. Contact your SRS grant administrator and college grant administrator with updated other support and immediately report this to the grants management specialist named in the notice of award. Remember, there is no page limit for other support. Include your completed funding for the last 3 years. It is in a new place here in other support with a new format. Other support includes all resources made available to the researcher in support of and/or related to all of their research endeavors, regardless of whether or not they have monetary value and regardless of whether they are based at the institution the researcher identifies for the current grant. In-kind resources include students, undergraduate and graduate, visiting faculty, scholars, scientists, and postdocs, active collaborations, external research activity, service agreements, scientific materials, office laboratory space, equipment, supplies, and gifts. These resources are also organized into active and pending sections with domestic and foreign contributions clearly identified. Yes, in-kind does include people. This is new. If you have a visiting scholar or visiting scientist in your lab and they are being paid by their home institution to come and visit, they would be included in the in-kind contribution section because they are working on your NIH project. They are not being supported off the NIH, so they are not part of senior key personnel, but they are listed in kind because they are working as a resource as part of your NIH work. If the time commitment or dollar value of the in-kind contribution is not readily ascertainable, a reasonable estimate must be provided. Paid direct graduate students or postdocs performing research activities in the lab is a resource available in support of the PI or other key personnel. This must be reported as in-kind contribution in other support. If the relationship is solely mentor-mentee, so no research activities, then this is not a resource and does not need to be reported. Information on materials received from collaborators must be included in the in-kind contribution, including the source, a summary of the in-kind contribution, and the estimated value. Only resources uniquely available to the researcher must be reported, not core facilities or shared equipment. If an in-kind contribution, such as technology, chemicals, etc., is intended for use on the project being proposed to the NIH in the application, the information must be included as part of the facilities and other resources or equipment section of the application and does not need to be replicated in other support. For in-kind resources with no associated time commitment, researchers can list zero effort, but must provide the estimated dollar value of in-kind resource. The effort and the dollar value cannot both be zero. And remember, in the cases where there is overlap, be sure to include a description in the overlap statement. Institutions are required to submit copies of contracts and consulting agreements specific to senior key personnel, foreign appointments, and/or employment with a foreign institution for all foreign activities and resources that are reported in other support. Non-research consulting activities are not other support. Personal service contracts or employment contracts for lab staff do not need to be provided. Translations are required if they are not in English. NIH will accept machine-read translations, for example, Google Translate, but it must be in English. Translations of foreign contracts for inclusion in other support submissions are not typically applicable to a specific NIH grant project and are therefore not allowable as direct cost. These contracts must be uploaded at just in time following the other support documents. Gifts or resources provided where there is no expectation of anything in return. Gifts are not required to be reported to the NIH and other support, but you can list them if they were used to subsidize research expenses. Here is the completed other support in-kind example. The signature block was added for program director, principal investigator, or other senior key personnel to certify the accuracy of the information submitted. Each PD, PI, or senior key personnel must electronically sign their respective other support form as a PDF prior to submission. You must certify the other support page, not someone in your department. You must now sign it with an electronic signature. Do not physically sign it or type your name there. If you do, it will be rejected. They will not accept it. Remember, to avoid submission errors, the PDF must be flattened after it has been signed electronically. You can find those instructions on their website.